In this video, we are going to see how modules work with namespaces, and we will go through an example to expose some of the ideas. Here we have a familiar module, math.ixx, and we have our global module fragment, which is empty for now. We have the preamble, which contains our imports, and we have the purview. But if you look down, you see that our purview, the code inside our purview, is wrapped inside a namespace. And the question is going to arise immediately. What happens if you export a namespace like we are doing here, or if you export something inside a namespace, but the namespace itself is not exported? Try to pause for a minute and think about it and see if what you came up with is what the standard went with. Well, if you export a namespace like we do here on top, all the content inside the namespace is going to be exported and usable by people who import this module here. So in this case, the point class and the line class will be usable by people who import this module here. Another thing you should notice is that the module and the namespace have the same name. This is a pattern I have seen people follow in the C++ community. You may follow this if you want. But if it doesn't work to your taste, you can try to name things differently, but I will be naming things the same in this lecture here. Another thing you can do is not export the entire namespace and only selectively export things you think you need to export inside the namespace. In this case, the distance function is exported, but you notice that the add function that is going to add up 2 points is not going to be exported. Okay, this is really the main idea. Using namespaces with modules, you can export an entire namespace like we are doing here, or you can selectively export things you need inside the namespace. In this case, the distance function is going to be exported, and to use it, you have to go through the namespace, but the add function is not going to be exported. Let's see how these things come together in the main CPP file. You see, we are importing our math module. We are accessing point and line through our math namespace, and we can call the distance function again through the namespace because it is exported from the math namespace. And we have already seen a lot about namespaces. You know that it is possible to set up different namespace blocks, and the content is still going to be part of the same namespace. If you are confused about this, please go back and watch the chapter when we talk about namespaces. Now that you know this, it is time we headed over to the IDE and saw this in action. Okay, here we are inside our IDE. The current project is 4812 modules with namespaces, and we will be setting up our interface file first. So let's add that in. It is going to be named math.ixx. And we can head over to the GitHub repository and see what we have. The current project again is 4812 modules with namespaces. We have 2 files that make it up, and we have a README file with our instructions here. Let's go to the math file and copy it. We will put it back in our project. So math, and put in the code we got from the GitHub repository. We can also change the main CPP file before we come back to the IDE, and we can copy raw file and bring that into our IDE here. And to make this compile, we need to enable C++ 20 modules. Let's use C++ 20 here. So language C++ 20. And we need to enable scan sources for module dependencies, and we need to set this to yes, apply, and okay. And let's see if we can actually build. Okay, the build is going to be good. Notice the order of compilation here. This is something you can watch and learn from if later on you plan on building on the terminal. This example is going to show the usage of namespaces with modules. If you export a namespace, everything inside is exported. If you export something from a namespace, the namespace is not exported, but not everything inside it. A good example is the add function in our module. So let's go back here, and we can see that we have a namespace math. It is entirely exported. It contains the point class and the line class. Okay, this is our namespace. This is the end of it. And we have another namespace block, and it is going to be containing a distance function and an add function. The distance function is exported, so it is going to be available for use by importers of our namespace, but the add function here is not exported. So if you try to use it where you import this module, you are going to be in for a lot of compiler errors. Another thing you should notice is that we have named our module the same thing as our namespace. This is something you can do. It is not a rule. If you name them differently, things are going to still work. But I have seen that it is a good convention that C++ developers are following. So you may use this as a practice. And if you happen to see that it doesn't work for you, feel free to walk away from this guideline here. Okay, I think this is really all we have to see. Let's try and build again and see if the build is good. I think we had built before. So let's run and see if we can use these things here. We are using point and line and using the distance function because they are exported. Notice that we are going through our namespace, which is the whole idea here. So debug, start without debugging, and it is going to do whatever it does. Let's try to use the add function to add up 2 points. So what we do here is say the sum of P1 and P2 is math add P1, P2. We are trying to add up 2 points that we defined here. But if we try to build this, be ready for a few compiler errors. You see errors, add is not a member of math, see declaration of math, add identifier not found. You see that we can't access the add function here because it is part of a namespace that is not exported, and we don't have an explicit export keyword in front of this add function here. So this is not going to work, and this is the idea I want to convey to you. This is how you use this with the Visual C++ compiler. If you want to use GCC and Clang either on Windows or Linux, these are the instructions. You can stop here if you don't care about GCC or Clang, but I am addicted to putting in these commands and seeing my program running. Otherwise, I feel like the work I did here is for nothing. So if you want to go with me and try these commands in the terminal. Let's use GCC. So copy and go to PowerShell, do ls and see the content of our project. The meat of this project is really this set of files, main.cpp and math.ixx. Put in the command to compile the header unit. It is going to go through. Put in the command to compile cmath. Okay, you see cmath is being used as a header unit to be able to use things like, what are we looking at here? I think we use it in the distance function, the power function, the square root function. These things are coming from the cmath header. That's why we need to compile it. So let's copy and put that in cmath. It is going to be compiled. Let's grab the command to compile our interface, put this in. And let's grab the command to compile the rooster binary and put this in place as well. And we will have our binary generated. If we run it, it is going to do whatever it does. You see, it is computing the distance between these 2 points. We have successfully used the GCC compiler. Let's take out all the junk. Let's remove the GCM folder, rm GCM. And remove any object files and remove the rooster binary that we have generated. We can hop over to command prompt and use Clang on Windows. Notice that we are using the terminal, the prompt. Use the command prompt. That's what we should say here. We are using command prompt and not PowerShell because PowerShell gave us a few problems earlier and we don't want to go through them now. Let's grab the command to compile our header unit. Let's put it in. It is going to go through. Let's grab the command to compile cmath as a PCM header. This is going to be a good learning opportunity. I think it is going to fail. This is something I probably haven't had a chance to show you. These things may fail. So this says that Clang 16 wasn't ready to compile the cmath header as a header unit. And this is going to give us a bunch of errors. So what we could do here, we can go back into our math interface file, not import cmath. So take this out. Okay, this is something we can do. and we could import it and use it here and include it. We could say include, okay, CMath. This is what we need here. And now our compilation steps would change to not use the PCM file that we have here. Okay, so if we compile by taking out, we have already compiled IOStream. So if we grab this command, let's grab this command here. I am just showing you this so that you can play with this if you want. Let's clean up the command because I don't want to pollute my README file here. Now we are not using CMath. We have to take it out of here. And we can grab the command again because it is clean and put it inside. This is going to be compiling. Let's go all the way to the end. This is going to be compiling our math interface file into PCM format. Let's see what's the problem. Okay, we didn't save what we did here. So let's save again. Okay, let's save again and come back here. I think we can hit the app key to try and compile. You see now that it compiles because we are not using CMath as a module. We are using it in the global module fragment by include again. But again, this is specific to Clang 16 and it is an old version by now. We have access to Clang 18, which supports this. So for now, we are going to put down Clang 16 and it was a good opportunity to see what happens if you try to use header units that are not supported yet for a specific compiler. Let's go back and import CMath because we can do this in Clang 18. Okay, so let's put this here. And we can stop using Clang 16 because it doesn't support what we really care about. So let's go back and clean up whatever mess was left by it. We can do ls and remove any PCM files. And we should have our starting files. We can hop over to PowerShell to use Clang 18 to see if it actually supports all these things that Clang 16 doesn't support. So let's go back here and grab Clang. The command to compile the header unit, we put it in, it is going to go through. We grab the command to compile the CMath header as a header unit, and this time it is going to work. You see that it didn't work on Clang 16, but it is working on Clang 18. Maybe this is a reason to convince you to try and use this Docker container containing the latest compiler, because with latest compilers, you get to use the features that are not very old. Let's put the command in to compile our math interface. So let's copy the command to put together the main file, I guess. So we put that here. Let's grab the command to use to compile our math file into an object file. It is going to go through, and we can grab the command to put everything together. And this is going to generate our rooster binary. Hopefully, if we do ls, we can see it right here. If we run it, it is going to run and do whatever is done in our main CPP file. This is really all I had to share in this lecture, showing you how you can break your module code into namespaces. Use this if it makes sense for whatever it is you are building. You can export an entire namespace and everything inside is going to be available for use by importers of the namespace, or you can selectively export things inside a namespace, and they will be exported together with the namespace, but things not exported won't be accessible, as we have seen in the main CPP file here. I am stopping here, and I will see you in the next lecture.